Welcome to the No Bull Political Arena. With your hosts, Sophia Nelson, Bill O'Reilly, Brian Mistro, and TJ McCormick. It's real voices, raw politics, and no bullshit. Hi, everybody. It's Brian Mistro. Welcome to another version of the No Bull Political Arena. I am here with TJ McCormick and Bill O'Reilly, and Sophia is sick, so she will not be joining us today. Hopefully, we'll get her back tomorrow.
We miss Sophia.
We do miss Sophia. She
She's
keeps
so
all of us in
smart.
line.
She
Keeps
does.
us in line. Yeah, especially me and TJ.
Yes, Godspeed, Sophia.
Yeah. So for those that watched our show last night, and if you didn't, you need to watch that because it got lit. We got into it last night, and I think a lot of stuff that really needs to come out and we need to be talking about as a country. But I'd like to follow up on that for just a moment and talk about where we're at, because last night on the Minnesota shooting, we said, she's in the hot seat, Noam's in the hot seat. Several of the men are in the hot seat. I would not be surprised to see some shakeups. So that's kind of summarizing part of our conversation last night. And sure enough, while we were on last night, Bovino has now, as according to the reports, effectively been fired. He has been sent to California, where he will slowly or quickly move in towards his long-term retirement and I guess get out of the force. So Minnesota did have consequences for the Republican Party. I don't think that's the last of them. I'm going to go back out there and say I think that Kristi Noem's in the hot seat. Just minutes ago, Tom Tillis, Republican senator from North Carolina, came out and he said she has to go. And as we reported last night, multiple senators, I think it's up to 7 or 8 right now, are demanding that Homeland Security come sit in front of them and explain to them what the hell is going on in Minnesota. And of particular notice, and we'll try to put some of this stuff up, but a particular notice, Donald Trump himself has really backed off on a lot of those comments and he's cooling it down. First of all, congratulations to Trump for reaching out and trying to lower the temperature a little bit. So for those of you that follow me, I it takes a lot for me to give any kind of a compliment towards Trump. Okay, I've got Trump derangement syndrome, but at least he's trying. I don't think he has a choice. That's where we're at right now. TJ, any other thoughts since our conversation last night? It looks like I said, it looks like there's a lot of changes coming into the administration.
And they had to happen. I mean, look, this is, two people die. You can make all the arguments in the world, as I have, as most sane people have, that look, there's a difference between civil disobedience, peaceful protest, and in inserting yourself into the official activities of federal law enforcement. There's also a big difference between political due diligence on the part of elected officials and inciting people to insert themselves into the business of federal authorities doing their job. And calling those shootings murder, not good. Calling out the president by name as if he wants it, not good. Something that I left out last night, and I'll just shut up and walk away because we're just sort of recapping. One thing I left out too, and shame on me, is to be hyper political. I will be. Right now, as I said last night, the ends justify everything for the left. And right now, we are talking about these two dead people and not about $9 billion worth of money for shell childcare operations in the state of Minnesota.
That is a mess. I'm actually surprised, and I don't know if that'll come up. Maybe we should talk about that tomorrow. But TJ, you bring up a good point. The level of corruption that has happened in that state is just damn near unprecedented.
Tim Walz was the Democrat nominee. for vice president. He's taken himself out of a race where he's the incumbent in that state.
I think that's why he did it.
No,
I
of
I
course,
think that's
it's
why
of
he
course
did
why
it.
he did it. And he's probably kicking himself because now he's got two dead people that we're talking about and not that. I'm sorry, Bill. I know that's shitty,
Yeah,
but
it hurts. Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
I'll just add one thing for our viewers that don't
these are
know.
craven
So
people, Bill.
Walls has said he's not gonna run for re-election in Minnesota, and now Amy Klobuchar said she's going to run. I'm going to tell you right now, that race is over. Short of her falling out of an airplane, she's not losing that race.
I
She
agree.
is extremely popular in Minnesota. There's no chance that race is over. Sorry, Lindell, you're not going to win that one. No matter how many pillows you bring. So,
I
Bill,
think
going back to
Billy,
last night, any kind of thoughts and since we've had that and some of the firings and so forth.
a bunch of them, and I think just to be consistent, since you were able to praise Trump for reaching out to the Minnesota officials, I think Waltz. I'm no fan of Waltz. TJ is no fan of Waltz. He did the same thing. He mellowed out a little bit and talked to the president as an official, not as a partisan. And it got done. I am so encouraged. I mean, you never know. Something else will pop. It does. But I am so encouraged by this backup. I support the ICE officers in general and police in general. I typically
Absolutely.
do. It's reflexive to me, and bad things happen when you're in volatile situations like that. But I'm really glad they're pulling back. And hopefully that doesn't send us a message to the left. Oh, it's working. Let's go do this everywhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a real detente like we talked about last night. And what I find so fascinating about this is the first time that the Republicans really cracked like this. They have a couple of times. January 20th, some
That's
cracked,
a
but then
good
they came
point.
back.
Yeah.
They really cracked in the 2A thing that you discussed yesterday. Like you carry your 2A guy, Second Amendment. That like the NRA stepped in against this. Like a lot of Republican senators have broken. There's more breaking, as we go. There's really nothing to break at this point. I think there's an acknowledgement within the administration that this was not handled well, and that there's got to be a better way to do it, and pull back for now. That's the Trump that I appreciate when he pulls back. Like that's the one I always fear when I was in the never Trump camp. It was this guy's going to do anything, but when he gets into a really bad situation, he often pulls back. And I was really pleased to see it today.
Yeah, I think that, and I want to segue off of that, but I think that the only thing that's going to save Kristi Noem's job is that the only thing that Donald Trump hates worse than losing is losing to Democrats. And so if they see, or Donald Trump thinks that it's going to reflect back on him that he's giving in to Democrats if he fires Noem right now, I that may be the only thing that saves her job. I'm not saying that's going to save Lewandowski or Miller's, but that may be the only thing that saves her job. We'll see.
I think she's on about 8 of 9, right? Lives. She's got to be at 8.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know TJ loves her. TJ.
As you said last night, I wouldn't want to be a puppy around her right now. So yeah. So real world circumstances and real world impacts of what happened last night. For those watching us, if you are a member of the military, or if you are in any way connected that if there was a government shutdown, it would affect your life, start preparing now. I do not see an easy way out of this one. Out of the last shutdown, it was over healthcare. So, the Republicans were pushing hard. They had a stand. Okay. I mean, they did have a stand that they were going to take. I don't necessarily completely agree with it, but there was a way out of it, which we got there. This time, I don't see a way out of it. So let me explain to our viewers what's happened. We have an appropriations bill that is sitting in the United States Senate right now. In order for it to pass the United States Senate, it has to have 60
60.
votes. Okay. They don't have it. We mentioned this last night. They don't have it. The Democrats are out in full force that they are not going to approve any more DHS funding at all until there's major changes inside of ICE. Well, Donald Trump and the United States Republicans in the United States Senate know that they're up against a wall. And even Toon has been out today multiple times saying, we're trying to negotiate with them. We'll try to do what we can. Donald Trump has actually done the same thing. Again, another accolade to Trump. My God, that's two in one day. All right. Because I know that they've got some real issues. The problem isn't going to be coming to a consensus in the United States Senate. They're mostly adults over there, minus a couple of them that we won't mention on this, that are on both sides of the aisle. We won't mention. They're mostly adults. They're going to find a consensus. The issue is going to be the House, because once they change that bill, it has to go back to the House. And these are the two numbers. If you're watching this, you've got to remember. In order for it to get out of the committee in the House, it has to have 218 votes. In order for it to get approved outside of committee, it requires 290 votes. They don't have that. They barely passed the last one. And so I think there's a very good chance that we're going to see a very long shutdown coming, because I don't see an easy way out of it.
And a long blame game on Medicare. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Bill, what do you think?
Well, I got to say, I'm a little bit unusual in this. I feel better when the government shut down. I feel safer. I feel like they're not going to do anything asinine on that day. They always say, essential personnel only. Well, cut everybody else. Cut everybody else. Just the essential personnel. That should be the federal government, in my opinion. Yep. But for people who are out there in need of Medicare, and I will be in a few years, it's a bad situation. I think that both the Republicans and the Democrats know that Medicare will probably decide the next elections in 26, the congressional elections.
I think so. Yeah.
And so Republicans, I think, will make moves. You see Mike Lawler and others that are more moderate, that are making smart moves, reaching across the aisle. It's going to be a long shutdown, though, Brian. I agree. And it's going to be another blame game going back and forth. And we'll have to be talking about that on the show on a lot of days. You can see it. It's lining up.
It's going to be a battle of the messaging. It's going to be a battle of the messaging. Who can lay the blame the best? Whose fault? Yep. Whose fault is it? And it's a game of chicken, and it's a blame game, and and it's going to come down. And it was interesting to see it turn the last time, because at first the Republicans were just messaging the daylights out of it early in the last shutdown, and then the Democrats kind of caught up a little bit. But in the end, I think it was a little bit better than a push. I think the Republicans came out looking like they were statesmanlike, at least. This one, we'll see who does the best messaging.
Yeah. So last time, and we mentioned this I think we mentioned this last time. It might have been the night before. Apologies. That we had 7 Democrats that crossed over and voted for it. Right. I don't know that they're going to, I don't know if even with those 7 Democrats that they're going to get there this time, because if they focus on something that it's going to be acceptable to Republicans, okay, they're not going to get enough votes to get it out. And if they focus and try to work with Democrats, they're going to piss off half the Republicans, especially by this on the Tea Party. And so I think Bill's right. I think I think it's going to be a challenge. I think that healthcare is going to come up, and I think they're going to relitigate a whole lot of things that they were talking about last time. So, but prepare for that. I don't, as of today, I don't see a scenario in which they can get around this. Let's move on to something that it is completely apolitical, which we hardly ever do on this show. I say it's apolitical. It will affect you. So the 2030 census is out. And what they see as of right now will be the apportionment coming into 2030. This is not good for Democrats. If you're a Democrat, you're not going to like this. California is losing 4. Oregon is losing 1. New York, you're not going to like to hear this, TJ. New York's losing 2. Your taxes are going up, TJ. Your taxes are going up, So even the Rust Belt states from Wisconsin, Michigan, I'm looking at Illinois, all of those are losing them. The appointments are going to Texas. They get 4, and you can see this on our map, by the way. If everybody looks up, you'll see these on the map. 4 of them go to Florida, 1 to Georgia, 1 to North Carolina. So anyway,
sounds about right.
You can look at the rest of it, but this is going to change the map big time for Democrats and how they're going to be able to survive this, because they're going to have to change. It's
super interesting, Brian. Like during the Obama administration, the general talking point among Democrats, I went on a few panels, and you hear the same talking points from different individuals, same author. And the talking point was that the Democratic Party's dominance in America, or predominance, was inevitable. that demographically that was what's going to happen because Hispanics were coming in, because whites were having fewer children, blah 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 blah. It's switching now because a lot of Latinos are for they're people. They can change parties. But there's another factor on the horizon. There's a wonderful podcast that Ross Douthat does at the New York Times, which is called Interesting Times. He interviewed a woman about 2 months ago who's from one of the schools in King's College in the UK, and she's an expert on demographics. And she was looking at the birth patterns in America, and she said conservatives are going to take over America because liberals aren't having kids. It's just conservatives having so many more children than liberals, that's another factor in play. And we'll see. That's a little bit longer, but you're absolutely right. The states that are losing population and losing power through those congressional seats are Democratic seats. I mean, New York had over 40. We had over 40. I mean, we were a monster state. We're going to be down to 20. 20 seats, and that matters a lot. That matters on funding. It matters on how much they care about the opinions of New Yorkers or of Washington State people or Oregonians. It matters.
So if you've got, let's say, 4 of them going to Texas, we've got, that's obviously a sign that people are moving to Texas, which I think most people know that,
Sure.
or moving to Florida because everybody's sick and tired of how damn cold it is in New
Georgia,
York.
Carolina.
What's in common on that one? No income tax? Is it? Is that,
Yeah,
is that something in common?
Brian?
Yeah, no state tax.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's no
well,
taxes,
Brian,
but...
let me just give you a stat that's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
So Florida has more population than New York. Texas has more population than New York. New York's budget is more than twice the size, is bigger than Texas and Florida's combined by far.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I am blown away. Are you kidding me?
That's why people are leaving New York. They can't afford it. And that's why they're leaving California. They can't afford it. And New Jersey and Connecticut, the whole Northeast.
How does that get better when you have that much population moving out still, going back down to Florida or Texas? Aren't they going to have to up the taxes to keep it to that same level?
Yeah, I mean, New York has about 20 million people. Under Governor Cuomo, for during his tenure, we lost 1.2 million people. That was mostly Republicans. They were from upstate.
We were number one in out-migration 10 years ago.
We are still
12. That's what I'm saying. 12 years ago, we were already number one in out-migration.
Yeah, California may have nicked us this year. It's close, I think.
Will this movement of people going down to Florida and to Texas
and Carolina
will it flip Texas blue? I mean, if they're coming from California, they're coming from blue states to Texas.
Possibly. But interestingly, Florida went deep red. You remember Florida was a fight state?
Florida was purplish.
I lived there then.
Oh, you were there? Yeah, exactly. What happened? I mean, I can't prove this, but I'm pretty certain of it. Was a lot of Northeasterners and Midwesterners that were conservative escaped for the taxes,
or because they're sick and tired of freezing their asses off.
And sick and tired of freezing their asses off. But
little both.
But then you see states like North Dakota doing better than New York in people arriving. It's not always the weather. Hawaii has problems, and they have beautiful weather. It's bad policy. It's years and years and year after year after bad policy. And now the Democratic Party comes out, and their big word is affordability.
Yeah.
What are you kidding me? You know what I mean? You can't drive down the street without, Brian, you could be driving down the highway in New York, and they'll take a picture of your license plate and get you for speeding right there. Like it's just automatically.
Yeah, no recourse.
Like in Europe, there's no recourse. It's like congestion pricing. Like there's a fee to everything.
Well, so they do the thing, but I know both in Texas, because for those that don't know, all my family's down in Texas. That's where I grew up. They'll take a picture for you if you run the stoplight or something like that. You'll see the little flash, and at that point you're screwed. Okay,
I don't like that either, but yes.
Yeah, and I'm agree with you. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think they should be able to do that. But at some point, it's as I was saying here earlier, they're going to have to start finding ways to raise taxes on the people that are left, whether it be New York or California, because it's simply just not enough people to maintain the same bloated budget. But that blows me away about how big the budget is in New York.
$260 million is the proposal for this year, or 266 or 260, I can't remember.
It's a runaway train.
When I started working in the legislature, it was 32, to give you an idea, and I'm not that old.
Yeah. And it's not even like you have to be, ideologically opposed. I mean, it's that you have two supermajorities in the House, in the two houses of the legislature. Every single statewide office is held by a Democrat. Supermajority in the Assembly. I don't know if the Senate is still a supermajority, but either way, uh, um, all the major towns and cities, for the most part, are. There's nobody even looking over. There's no voice of reason even within the Democrat Party in New York State. There's never a moment in those caucus rooms where somebody stops and says, "Well, let's actually tap the brakes on this one." There's no way that anybody could be saying that, because the shit coming out of Albany, the state capital, is as Bill just went through that litany of just some of those fees and some of those things, and like in the last year, what they spend upwards of 12 billion at final about 12 billion dollars was spent housing and
Illegal
feeding
immigrants, yeah.
illegal migrants in New York City. I mean, giving them just straight up, giving them a I mean, it sounds like a cliche. It sounds like something like some MAGA guy would say, but it's true. They gave them cell phones, debit cards, and hotel rooms. So $12 billion, and there's zero. They act with impunity because they are there forever. They are there forever. They don't have to think twice. Literally, other people's money.
Which is what's happened in California also, and you get a state that tilts like that, and then you end up with the kind of divisions we're looking at.
Massachusetts, Connecticut. It's
although Massachusetts elects Republicans once in a while, which is wild. They still
but
do
when's the last time
moderate.
though? When was that? When was the last time?
Charlie Baker. It was just a few years ago. Charlie Baker.
He was the governor?
Is the governor. They every once in a while. And then they had Weld, and they had they had a senator. They once in a while they'll do it.
Well, so with the population movements and stuff, I'm just curious. Do you think that New York keeps its supermajority for Democrats in both state legislatures?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think because it's another thing too. You have voter apathy. You have people who just check out. It really is hopeless. It is absolutely. They won't listen. They don't listen. They don't care. They're a dopey, stupid electorate. They are a bunch
of. Is that how we got Mamdani?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how it happens over time. In New York State, both houses of the legislature were traditionally Republican in the early 20th century until 68 or whatever. I forgot which year it was. It was a Nixon year. It may have been 74 after Watergate. They lost the assembly, and then they held on to the Senate, which they had held for most of 80 years, the Republicans, and lost it a few years ago just for demographics. Their voters moved away. And now they're, they were 1 seat behind, then 2 seats behind. And TJ and I worked on a lot of these races, and then suddenly they're 15 seats behind, and it's over.
Yep.
Is it,
but is 15 seats.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to be interrupted. Go ahead.
No, you try and just get back. You try and get back like something that can block a supermajority, like TJ is saying. I think we have it by 1 vote, maybe.
Right now, there's about
it's
one.
It's the only power left for the Republicans.
But it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because the governor doesn't have to veto anything anyway. It's not like her not. It's a veto-proof supermajority that they've had recently. But it doesn't even matter because she doesn't have to. The thing is too is. What the hell was I going to say? I lost my train of thought right here.
Brian's
live
on
right.
That's what you're.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say. Besides, why wouldn't everybody just move to the Pacific Northwest to be near Brian?
Well, it's interesting too because Washington has no state income tax, but they tax the shit out of you on other things. However, our wonderful governor is now putting in what they call a millionaire's tax. I don't remember what the number is on it, so pardon me, but it is substantial that if you break that millionaire threshold, which is a whole lot of people in this state, by the way.
Don't fall for that. Brian, don't fall for that word. The millionaire's tax in New York were people making $250,000 or more.
I was just going to say,
tax.
Yep, 100%.
That's how it starts.
But if you lived in New York City and you were making $249,999, you could keep a rent-stabilized apartment because you were poor.
Exactly.
You're a millionaire if you get an extra dollar. That's exactly. New York thinking.
Millionaire's tax and mansion tax. Those are two things. It's all relative.
10% mansion tax. Yep.
Right. Mansion tax. What? One person's mansion is another person's, big house.
Yep.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where this stuff goes. I know we're running out of time here. Something to think about and throw out to our audience to consider. Bill, you said that Republicans had New York until early 70s, early 1970s, something like that.
I think 73. I think assembly. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and so I guess my question to throw back out, and we'll leave it here, but is that Republican Party the same Republican Party we have today? Because I would make an argument that that Republican Party has come to look a whole lot more like the old Democrat Party. So that the two parties have switched, have done a switch in a lot of their belief systems.
It's
There's
a,
a
in New York, and it's a big country. I don't want to just talk about New York. In New York, the Republican Party has actually moved right. The Conservative Party started in '62, and it did that because the Republicans were so liberal. It was the Rockefeller wing of the party, and they were spending more money than the Democrats were. Rocky, he was throwing some of his own money into it, but it was a lot of money. So the Conservative Party kind of forced, and they still do, force the Republican parties to hew to the right. And so that's not so much here, but in other states, absolutely. No question, Brian. No question. They start to look like each other because they're all in the same room together.
Yeah, yeah. That was back. And when did your I think it was your uncle, right, William F. Buckley, right?
Yeah, he
When
ran
his seat
65.
it was
Yeah,
65? Was that when he was really at?
65. It wasn't expecting to win it, as you know. So
Yeah,
it was there
amazing.
to make some points. I've got to say before we go, Brian, I wanted to just add on to the topic, the earlier topic about Minneapolis. Congressman Mike Lawler, who I've done work with, TJ and I are very good friends, has a wonderful op-ed in the New York Times today that basically talks about the conversation we had last night and this morning and today, that maybe what's happened could lead to some type of negotiation on immigration in Congress. It's worth a look. I think the op-eds are still free at the Times. If anyone wants to take a look, it's Congressman Mike Lawler. It's the lead op-ed in the Times today.
Yeah, so it's Lawler for those that are watching us, just in case you don't know. He's a moderate. What is that district? So he's a Republican, and
New York 17.
he's in a district. What was it? What was the D plus what?
Oh,
No, he's one of only two. He's one of only two congressional seats. He's looking to hold only one of two nationwide that that
Biden and
Harris won. Yeah, Biden
Harris
Harris
and
won.
Biden
Yeah,
won.
so that's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
He's in actually a Democrat. Uh,
Oh,
uh,
heavy duty. Oh, it's all New York. If you win if you're a political consultant in New York, I worked for 30 years in New York without ever having done a seat that was any better than 3-1 Democrat to Republican.
oh gosh.
That's a joy. You can win those seats because you get some independence, and if you can get a ride in the press, and you're like playing, you can win those ones. But a lot of the seats are starting to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-1.
Yeah. Do you think is Lawler in trouble this year?
If anyone's going to hang in, it's him. He's well respected. He speaks his mind. He's not Republican Mike Lawler. He's Mike Lawler. He's an individual, and I think he's carved that little niche out. I think it's going to be tight, but I think he makes it.
Good.
He's a fighter. He's a real fighter.
And there's like about 7 Democrats who have thrown their hat in the ring. So that's gonna and they are the vitriol, the hatred could be some of their undoing. They could get sloppy pretty quick, and they all are convinced that they're gonna drop them like a lead balloon. And so they're all itching. They want to be the one to beat them, but they better be careful how they get there because they could indict themselves. There's so much infighting right now happening amongst those 7 Democrats, and they're all running on hate. There's nothing about positive, nothing about change, nothing. It's all about hate
Are
of
you getting
Trump
their mail
and
too?
Lawler. What, baby?
You're getting their mail too, huh?
Oh yeah.
I guess
Well,
I
I
think it's
also,
maybe 9 of them now. I get every day we get like 6 pieces of.
but I
It's
also
Lawler's
see
fault. It's
the
Lawler's fault.
but I see, but I mean, I see it on the Facebook pages and stuff. They're tripping over themselves with hatred, and it's just not an organically good place to come from. You got to have some positivity,
Mhm.
and there's none.
You,
So
you heard it here
Well,
first.
so I'll make a prediction right here, and I may be wrong, but in my very strong prediction is that the House is absolutely gone for Republicans. There's no chance that they keep it. I think it'll be 20 plus seats flip. I think the Senate's in play. I do agree that it's still going to be difficult, but the polling that has come out in Maine and in Alaska today, two of them that are pretty much a most take for Democrats. Oof, it is not good for Collins. It is not good in Alaska. I think it's minus 14 or something, ever 16.
Oof, oof.
It is
Wow.
really bad. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. That's not going to
It's
get them
early.
there. They're still going to have to get
It's early.
Ohio
it's
or
early.
Texas.
Tax
It is.
returns. People are going to be getting an extra. What's the number? About
$2
an
grand. Yeah.
average of like 2 grand
Yeah.
more. And that there's a lot from the BBB that could change things.
Yeah, I mean, as I say often on social media, it's a couple of political lifetimes before the midterms, right?
That's
So,
right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh God, Trump could end 9 more wars by then.
No, but you get a peace in Ukraine. Israel could hold. The stock market holds up. Things change.
or things could get a lot worse too.
Or they
So
get worse. But I
it's
think your assessment right now is about right. If the election
yeah.
were tomorrow, I think Republicans
Oh,
would take a path in the House.
bloodbath. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
bloodbath. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow. We're hoping to have an economist on, if not tomorrow, Thursday, and chat a little bit about the reserve currency status of the United States and the impact that if we did lose it, what it would look like for our country.
Holy shit! I'm taking that show off. That is so
I
above my pay grade. I'm just gonna sit here and
just listen to it.
be. Oh
Yeah.
God Almighty! You won't hear a peep from me. Any non-TJ fans, tune in for that one because I have nothing to say.
Yeah, everybody's going to be grabbing, grandma's silver and gold
Yeah.
spoons and sticking them away somewhere
It's
safe.
gonna be a goofy avatar of me up here. I'm gonna put me on loop just like this.
Oh, yeah, I can help take care of the avatar for you if you'll let me,
Boom.
TJ.
All right.
All right,
Sure.
everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us. Please subscribe. It's super easy. Go to our YouTube channel at No Bull Media Group, just like you see right there. Super easy. Please subscribe to it. It's free, completely free. And we will see you tomorrow with the latest news and political updates. Thanks.
Stay
Feel
warm,
better,
everybody.
Sophia. Feel
Stay
better,
warm.
Sophia. Yep. Yeah. Stay warm.
The No Bull Political Arena is on all major social media platforms. Make sure to give us and your host a follow.
Hey everybody, this is Sophia Nelson. Follow me at I am Sophia Nelson on every one of my social media platforms.
I'm Bill O'Reilly, and you can reach me at Twitter at WFBOR.
Hey, this is TJ. Follow me on X or Twitter at TJ McCormack.
This is Brian Mistro, and you can follow me on X at Brian_Mistro or follow along on Facebook at Brian.Mistro.
A No Bull Media Group member.